I'm eating Terimisu. It's pretty good. And it was made in a glass, so I get to keep it. Double win. Last part. Oh. I found a letter, I forgot. Anyways, last part. Loving practice. Best for last. Cultivating inspiration. One of the most beautiful proofs of ecstasy is delivered in a moment of inspiration. I've already discussed signals from spirit, which hint at the reality beyond that perceived by the five senses. You know, sometimes I get scared that, and I don't know if this is like everyone's fear, but there are times where this sense of fear comes through, like, what if I never left the hospital and I'm still there and I'm just like medicated like up the ass and this is my reality? I think about that sometimes, you know? That could be a possibility in another world. Obviously, it's not, because other people, I don't control other people, right? In my dreams, like at all, so it doesn't work out. I have never controlled other people in my dreams, actually. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Anyways, but inspiration is much more than a hint. When you feel inspired, you find yourself thrust into a world where ordinary objects and events are full of light, as if illuminated from within. This inner light is truth, and when we suddenly see the truth, when we suddenly see the truth, we gain insight, clarity, and objectivity. Insight enables you to know your own heart. Clarity enables you to accept without illusions. Objectivity enables you to view any person or situation with compassion. Insight, I have lots of insight and objectivity. Triumphant moments when you say to yourself, that was really inspired. I don't think I've ever said that phrase. Yeah, I don't think I've ever said that. That was really inspired. I'm just like, cool. Sadly, most people do not attain even a few of these qualities until late in life. Oh, sorry. All three qualities come together, and the feeling of that union is ecstasy. Sadly, most people do not attain even a few of these qualities until late in life, when the maturation of experience allows the obstacles to inspiration, particularly fantasy, projection, and judgment, to fall away. Even moments of inspiration may be rare, but the root word of inspire means to breathe in. Which implies that inspiration should be a simple thing as natural as breathing. When we say that someone has been inspired to write a love poem, we mean that it flowed naturally from his or her feelings. Feeling, actually, not plural. Nothing stood in the way. There was no struggle between mind and heart. And that's why I like writing poetry. It is my true nature and my true feelings for the person that I'm writing poetry for, particularly one person. But anyways, inspiration is that the state in which mind and heart are connected. The following exercises show you how to summon inspiration and make it your own long before you reach the end of the path. I don't believe there is an end. So, that doesn't exist for me. And if there is an end, it's like a new beginning. So it's kind of like not really an end. I don't believe in endings. Every spiritual master has declared that the present moment is the home of spirit. Nothing to be attained in from form of wisdom, love, and vision has to be postponed. Yet we all postpone the day when we will be loving, wise, and inspired by our own vision. This implies that the present moment is a very difficult place to reach, despite the obvious fact that we are already there. Hell yeah. What a mindgasm. Every second is a door to eternity. The door is opened by perception. Yeah. Why do I do that to myself? Anyways, yes, perception is everything, isn't it? Quite interesting. Quite. What is this? Oh, it's a seed. Okay. What makes each second infinite is its potential. What makes it finite is your view of that potential. He's so smart. I'm going to use the phrase that he said. That is so inspired. So inspired. Think of an inspired moment. Funny. In your life when you made the perfect move, said the perfect thing, had the perfect idea. What made you so different in that moment? You were open to something new. You weren't reliving the past or anticipating the future. You felt optimistic and open. You were not defended. You let it happen, whatever it was. You felt connected. How sweet. I love it. Now ask yourself if you feel that way now. If you did, you would be in a very simple, though extraordinary state. You would be in the moment. I do. The same preconditions take everyone into the moment, whether Leonardo, William Blake, or just an ordinary person like me or you. I don't think Deepak is just an ordinary person. He's too humble. How sweet. A genius like Blake may see infinity in a grain of sand, whereas an ordinary person might only feel uplifted and carefree. The difference, however, is much less important than the similarities. If you doubt that you could actually see infinity in a grain of sand, try following the meditation, which can be done imaginarily without sand in case none is handy. Ooh, meditation. A sand meditation. That seems cool. Hold a grain of sand, ordinary aquarium or beach sand will do, in the palm of your hand. Let your eyes rest upon it. Notice its color, facets, and any hint of glitter, the sharpness of its edges. Roll it between your fingers. Hold it up to your tongue to taste it if there's saltiness or earthiness in it. I would do that. This is grain of sand presented to you by your five senses. And most people would say that there's not much to see in the humble object. No, I would not say that. Well, I'm not most people. If you ever looked at sand under a microscope, your mind will explode, right? It's just so crazy. I gotta look it up so I can blow my mind again. There's just so much depth in our world. I'm using that word a lot. Because there is, if you look hard enough, and most people do not. That's just insane. Yeah. I was just looking at sand under the microscope. And I'm sure we can see beyond that with a stronger microscope, but I need a microscope. Anyways, this grain of sand presented to you, and most people would say, but now think of your grain of sand as a point surrounded by space. How much space can you imagine? There's the room you are sitting in, which expands out into your house, the house into your neighborhood, neighborhood into town. Allow your mind to see this expansion suddenly explode. Now there's the space of the whole planet, the solar system, galaxy, blackness, beyond. Let this space also expand. Allow yourself to see that there's no edge to outer space, no boundary in time. Space cannot have a boundary because the cosmos is expanding at a tremendous rate. How do we forget that? Hundreds of thousands of miles per minute, which is barely slower than the speed of light in human terms. You cannot take a stop motion picture of the cosmos to find out where it is right now, because at the leading edge of expansion, the universe curves back onto itself. It must do this, otherwise there would be something outside space, which cannot be. Holy shit. Give me a second to process what he just said, because let's backtrack really quick. So he literally just said, you cannot take a stop motion picture. Do you know what a stop motion picture is? Basically, it's an animation term where you have an object. Let's say it's a figurine of a character. You move it by like a fraction. You take a picture, and then you move it again, take a picture. Bastards. Anyways, they got me again. You take a picture, and then after all that, you compile the pictures, and that creates the movement, the fluidity of an animated picture. But literally what he just said is two things, because I just got slapped in the face, is what we're doing now to discover science and space, right? New discoveries is actually like kind of backwards because it's constantly changing. So what we have now is like ancient history, right? That's crazy. So we're literally looking at the sky and we're like, hey, that star is something miles away, the light years away. But in reality, that was only like a second ago. That's fucking crazy. That meme where the guy is just like, that's me. Second thing, which is my lesson, is just an analogy for how time is progressing for everyone else at this time. That makes more sense because it's an animation term. And let me write that down because I will forget it. Slate. So very interesting. I can understand analogies that have to do with animation because I studied it. Okay. What do you want? You're not getting my tiramisu. Very tasty. Mm. This means that the grain of sand is the center of the universe. Beautiful. You know, it also reminds me of Ant-Man and Wasp, where he goes into, what is it, utero or whatever, the dimension of no return or whatever. I don't remember. It reminds me of that. Now repeat the meditation using time instead of space. Look at your grain of sand and check the exact time. Imagine the earlier part of the day stretching before and the rest of the day stretching after. Now expand the time frame to include a day before and a day after, a week, a month, a year. See time as an expanding circle and allow it to expand as fast as it wants. Kind of drooling here for some reason. Is there a limit to this acceleration? In your mind, you can instantly envision the moment of the Big Bang. I don't mean the literal event, which is beyond mental comprehension, only the time it takes you to bring the event to mind. Likewise, if you want to imagine a star as it exists 10 billion years from now, oh my God, I'm stupid, never mind. I literally just oxymoroed myself. Whoops. Yes, that's why it's light years away. I realize that now. We comprehend. Never mind. Sometimes I don't get it. Okay, I have to arrive to the answers myself. Likewise, if you want to imagine a star as it exists 10 billion years from now, your mind can go forward to that point instantly. I cannot. I don't have that capacity to. I literally have no time frame. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I cannot say in 1918 this event happened. Like my mind does not work that way. So I have trouble imagining this. I don't know. If time and space both are centered on one grain of sand, then you have seen infinity, or as close as your present perception can carry you. The next step is to form the meditation without idea of time and space. Let your mind go blank and allow the sensation of time and space, a single expanding circle, race away from a point. Hold in your mind both extremes, the point and the circle, without letting go of either. Don't strain or try to visualize too hard. This should be as natural as possible. Let the circle race away from the point until it disappears, and you can no longer hold both things in your awareness. Sense the state of your mind. Is it open, watching, and alert? Is it revealing the past or anticipating the future? Is it undefended? Did you let your meditation happen without turning it into something? Do you feel connected? I obviously didn't do the second to last part, but I get it, I think. You may notice any or all these things or none. This isn't a test, but a way to go beyond boundaries. The value of seeing infinity in a grain of sand is personal. You may feel like laughing, or you may feel profoundly quiet. You may have a beautiful image come to mind, or a silky emptiness. You may be ecstatic or inspired. Give it some time. This meditation opens the mind, easing your old ego boundaries without your having to address them psychologically. Isn't that nice? Gently. 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 Stop scratching the furniture. The grain of sand is important. You are using the point to focus to slip out of the net of time and space. Beyond the net lies openness, which is pure potential. In that potential, everything is possible. It is the door of the present moment, which leads to eternity. Part 2, Threads in the Fabric of Love. I like that. I say I like that a lot, but I like it like that. On the path to love, inspiration grows. The moments of insight that mark the early stages of the path are not as profound as those that come with mature vision. This reflects a change of consciousness. But at the same time, there's a change of reality. Being infinite, spiritual reality is infinitely flexible. It can accommodate any perspective. All perspectives are valid, yet those that approach near to God contain more of His qualities: truth, compassion, acceptance, and love. I'm about it. Your consciousness is the contribution to reality. What you perceive as real becomes real. Little kitty. When two people come together in love, they weave a fabric of consciousness. If the fabric is strong, then both lovers have made it so. Each loving thought and action is a thread added to the fabric. Oh, how beautiful. In Sanskrit, the word for thread is sutra. Sorry for the noise, the cat's playing with the thing. Which also has a metaphysical meaning. A sutra is an aphorism or formula that expresses some fundamental truth about consciousness. When Rumi says love is the sea where intellect drowns, he's uttering a sutra. It expresses a truth from his level of awareness, and at the same time it weaves truth by adding a thread no one else has added before. Interesting. In a moment of clarity and insight, Rumi felt within himself that his intellect no longer struggled against love, but was absorbed into it, as if being drowned in the sea. His sutra reflects that experience, at the same time evokes it in us as we read it. Cool. You and your beloved have privileged moments in which you understand what your love is. No one has ever had exactly the same revelations because you are unique people. That's reassuring. Your inspirations are yours alone, even though similar insights have been occurring for thousands of years. To make revelations your own is important. You need to know what you believe, how far you have come on the path together, how much growth you have shared. Sutras can tell you all these things. With all the toys that you have to play with that, right? The exercise here is to write down your inspirations as they come to you. Love grows the more you talk about it, think about it, and express it. Even though moments of insight last only an instant, they're touchstones of something eternal, the relationship between self and self. At this moment, your self wants you to know about love, but also about truth, compassion, trust, acceptance, and devotion. These are the threads from which the fabric of consciousness is woven. I love it. Me gusta. Where's my pen? Here it is. All right, so we're going to do some writing. Perfect. Parfait. And that is not French for perfect. That's a dessert. Get yourself a notebook in which you will put your sutras as record those of others that inspire you. Other people's sutras, so I guess quotes and stuff like that. And any moment, Spirit is ready to teach you about itself. You only have to set aside time when you feel receptive. Taking 5 or 10 minutes in the early morning works for most people. I should do that. Sit down with your pen and paper and let your mind relax. Do not force yourself into a state of inspiration, but have the intention to express what you know. I don't mean the information in your brain, but what you know from your heart, a spark of truth, a message from yourself. If words don't come easily at first, you may want to start with a standard opening such as love is ... or myself wants me to know that ... After a little practice, however, you won't be able to stop writing. Once communication starts, it tends to pour out. This is actually a form of clairvoyance, I guess. I don't know what it's called. There's so many words. And I don't have my little phone to help me. But this is something that a lot of tarot readers, well, not a lot, but some of them can do. I haven't tried it. Shall we try it now? Okay. Sometimes it makes no sense to me at all. So I wrote, love is ... and I got an image of myself on YouTube for some reason. So I put you, me, and girl in buns on YouTube. The purpose of your sutras isn't to sound poetic or wise, but simply to express where you are. Most of us cannot equal the brilliance of Rumi, but our state of awareness is just as true for us as his was for him. The beauty of recording your spiritual vision is that you will have the immense pleasure of watching it grow. Each thread is valuable. None can be taken out of the fabric of love without loss. Therefore, keep in mind the preciousness of your own awareness, and let your inspiration be a way to claim your spiritual life as your own. Excuse you? So greedy. And yes, I'm aware that my dog is a reflection of myself. We can be greedy. All right, so now we're almost towards. Oh, wait, there's one more chapter. In conclusion, you are loved. Oh, so beautiful. The following are some sutras I have written over the past year in my own notebooks. I wrote them in spare moments on airplanes, waiting for lost luggage, or sitting outside by the sea on sunny days when I wanted to be with myself and hear its voice. There are nearly 100 sutras here, a good harvest from a very busy year, and I was surprised once I read them all how completely they express the material in this book. Thus, they are like crystals from which whose whole pages sprouted and grew. I do not offer them for you to read in one sitting, but all are given here to mark the progress of one soul as it unfolded over a short span of time. If I could wish one thing for myself, it would be that I weave this fabric of consciousness forever, which is more thrilling than the prospects of truth you do not know yet. Interesting. So we went through some of these. I don't think I'm going to read them all, but let's see what speaks to me. Growth is the willingness to let reality be new every moment. That is true growth for me, at least. I have grown up so much in the past few months. It's insane. Crazy. Crazy when you think about it. All right, so love is the beginning of the journey, its end, and the journey itself. Love is based not on how you act or feel, but on your level of awareness.
What?
Everything has the same spirit watching itself through the eyes of different observers. I love it. I don't know what she's complaining about. But anyways, love is everywhere, but in some places it's blocked by fear. This one's nice. No one is wrong. In the eyes of love, all people are doing the best they can from their own levels of consciousness. And that's just the nice thing about this world that we live in, this universe and this consciousness is so kind and caring. It blows my mind. Love's organizing power is infinite. Love grows on the basis of giving. God's ability to give is infinite, and we limit it by our own unloving perception. And I put a little arrow to it. Don't you start crying. Because people think that if they receive abundance, there's not going to be enough for everyone. Like, this greedy perception that there isn't enough to go around describes a lot. Love never forces. Love is intelligent and only brings what you need. What do I need? I don't know. I leave that up to the universe, right? I have no idea. I will attempt to read some of this. Forgiveness in the heart comes about when the walls of separation in the mind fall. Whoa, that made me so dizzy. Whew. The person you call an enemy is an exaggerated aspect of your own shadow self. That's actually really smart. Good to know. Good to come back to when I'm really pissed off at someone. Sex can be used to expand love or to shut it out. The highest eros is to take God as a lover. This would freak people out. They'd be like, what? You have sex with God? What does that mean? I don't know. I think it's from SpongeBob. To see love in the moment, you must clean the windows of perception. If you have your full attention in the moment, you will see only love. If you're addicted to someone else, you're treating that person as an object. Thankfully, I'm not addicted to someone. I just admire them from afar. Yeah, all of these are pretty good. And let's see. I don't think I'm going to continue reading all this. I know I said this was the last one. I have some stuff to think about. Just from the other stuff. So I want to meditate on that. But the next chapter is In Our Lives, a House of Light. And what is the other part? In conclusion, you are loved. So those are the last two. And it's already 10. Yeah, I'll probably do them tomorrow or whenever I feel like it. I have some things to process in a good way. It's so deep, it's so deep. It's so Deepak. And what other books? We went through the books, but I have to see what else I'm going to get. I think the next one is Raid on the Inarticulate. I don't know why, but I want to read. I want to know what that's about. Man, at least you know that I do read my books, because some people have books just to look all fancy. You know, do you know those people? That they just have books and they're just there for show. All my books have tabs and writing. Well, not all of them have writing, but most of them have tabs. Crazy. Except for my fantasy novels. I don't want anyone to know about my dirty secrets. I'm joking. But yes, Deepak Chopra, one of the best reads from anything I've ever read. Just goes to show you how much I need to learn. But very nice, very nice. Very nice. How is this book wet? I have no idea. Why? It wasn't even in water. Weird. So yes, I'm going to meditate and pass out. Thank you for watching. We're almost done. Promise.